Welcome back to Namaste Node.js, and now let us just talk more about Node.js in this video. So in this video, we will talk about an important concept which is JavaScript on server. Okay, so Node.js came with a philosophy that it can run outside the browser. Now JavaScript can run outside the browser, primarily on the server. Now you might ask, Akshay, what is a server? So let me just dive deep into that also, right? Let me just explain you what actually a server is. What is a server? What does this statement mean? Okay, so let me just go slow. So a server means nothing but a remote computer. You can assume that it's a computer, it's a CPU, right? Working remotely. So let me just quickly explain it for the people who don't know about it. So basically think of a server as a computer. Okay, so assume it's a CPU. It's located at somewhere. Suppose, let me just give you an example. Suppose if you are running a website on a server, what does it mean, right? When you are running a website on a server, what does it actually means? It means that you are running a website on a server, a computer, somebody's computer. It's generally a cloud. It's generally, cloud is what? These are servers, right? Located remotely. That's all it is. So it's at the end of the day, it is one CPU, it is one machine which is receiving that request. Okay, so that receiver or that receiving computer is known as a server. Let me just explain you once again how it works behind the scenes. So basically, suppose if you type google.com, okay, so you make a request through your client, okay, so there is a server and there is something known as a client, okay, let me demonstrate client with a green, okay, so suppose this is your computer, you have your web browser over here, okay, suppose you have your web browser and over here, you try to access google.com, okay, you wrote google.com. So what will happen? Every domain name maps to an IP, okay, so it will just map to an IP. Suppose the IP, let me take a random IP 114.265.123.8, okay, this is the IP. Now what is this IP? This IP points to a device, points to a server. Server means a machine. Okay. So suppose this IP points to this server. Okay. So whenever you are requesting google.com, that means this computer is making a request to the server. Okay. And now initially what happened was JavaScript was the main language which was used inside the browser. Isn't it? JavaScript was the main language which was used inside the browser, but after Node.js, you can even run JavaScript on this server. Now this is very powerful. Why this is very powerful? Because when JavaScript was just used in front end or on the web or on the client or on the websites that we build, so there were different front end developers, and now on the backend, there were languages like Java and all these other high-level languages were used. Java, Python, and C++, and all these languages were used. You know, there were separate backend developers. Now, with JavaScript coming on server as well as web, what happens is it gave us an opportunity for a single developer to develop full stack. Now, we started calling it as full stack. Basically, you can now so basically a JavaScript engineer who knows JavaScript properly can now write code on using libraries and frameworks like React, Angular, can write code on computers, can write code on websites on the client side, and can also use Node.js to write code on servers. Okay, so that is why this is kind of like client and server. And now when the JavaScript can be run on both client and server, it became a lot popular and a lot of developers now just have to learn one language, JavaScript. They have to become very good at it. And then now they can be a full stack developer. They can write front end code, they can write back end code. And that's why Node.js also gained a lot of popularity and frameworks like Maarn came in, right? Maarn, where Maarn means MongoDB, right? MongoDB, Express, React, and Node, right? So basically, Maarn, Mean, and all these tech stack came in, right? These are fancy terms. If you don't know about it, don't worry about it. But these are very popular terms which are being used in the industry. Just because JavaScript can run on both client as well as server. Now, this actually was a very big fundamental that Node.js also became very popular. But let me also tell you an important thing, right? A lot of people will pull their hairs after listening to this. And let me, even before telling that thing, right, let me tell you that whenever I go and talk to college students, a major question to them is, right, a major question by them is that, Akshay, which language is good? Which programming language is good? Is C++ better than JavaScript? Is Java better than JavaScript? Is Python good? Is C++ good? Is JavaScript good? Right? And I find that question to be very silly, right? I sometimes laugh on these questions. But, and sometimes when I tell this to a lot of people, they just pull their hairs. They are like, okay, oh my God, are you talking for real? When I tell them that Node.js is C++ code. Is C++ code. Wait, Akshay. Right? Akshay, are you saying that Node.js has C++ code? Is it so? Isn't Node.js built using JavaScript? Right? This is what you will think, right? That Node.js is JavaScript, isn't it? Okay, let me tell you one important thing. Okay, let's not even talk about Node. Let us talk about the JS engine, right? JS engine. Okay, JS engine V8, which is developed by Google Chrome, right? Which is used inside Google Chrome and developed by Google. You know what? What is V8 written in? V8 is written in C++. V8 is a C++ program. Is a C++ program. When I tell this to a lot of developers, they just feel that, oh my God, is it so? The JavaScript engine uses C++ to execute JavaScript code. Does it make sense now? Right? You don't believe me? Let me show it to you. A lot of people over here watching this video won't believe me. Let me just show it to you. Okay? Let's go to browser. Just search for V8 GitHub, right? Just search for V8 GitHub, right? This is the GitHub repository of V8 engine, right? It's open source. It's free. Go to GitHub repository of V8. If you go to the open repository of V8, just go over here and see. 72% majority of the code of V8 is written in C++. Do you understand that? And at the end of the day, when I tell this to a lot of developers, they don't understand this. They are just amused by this statement that at the end of the day, a JavaScript engine is a C++ program. Right? Whenever we say JavaScript engine, and what is JavaScript engine? Is it some sort of an engine? It's some sort of a machine? It's some sort of a motor? No, it's not something physical. JavaScript engine. What is JavaScript engine? This is JavaScript engine. Let me show it to you. This is JavaScript engine. What is this JavaScript engine? This is some piece of code. This is a C++ program. JavaScript engine is a C++ program, my dear friends. Nothing more than that. It's a C++ program. I will come into the details and internals of it, and let me just go and show it to you first of all, okay? So see, it's a C++ program, and not just C++. It also has some JavaScript. I will tell you why it has some JavaScript. It has some TypeScript. It has some Python. It has some C. It has some Starlark, right? And there are some other languages also, but majorly it is written in C++. Okay? This is your JavaScript engine. Right? It is interesting, right? To know about it. Okay, and if you'll go over here, right, if you go and see the source files, if you go to SRC over here, if you go to SRC, go to any folders and all, right, if you'll go to init, suppose, like go to random folders, you will find all this, like cc file, .h file. What is this cc file? It's a C++ program, right? If you'll open this, these are all C++ programs. See this? Include stdio.lab, stdlib.lab, right, .h, right? These are header files. .h is the header files in C. Right, see this. What is this? This is a C++ program. Right? So don't confuse yourself. If you are saying that JavaScript engine, that means you are just executing a C++ program. That's all it is. No need to be confused about it. right? And let us go to V8 website also, right? How will I go to V8 website? Let me search on Google for V8. Let us basically go to the V8 website and let us see what actually V8 engine is, right? If you will go and read about V8 engine, what is actually V8 engine? Let me just show it to you, right? Let me zoom in. V8 is Google's open source high performance JavaScript and WebAssembly engine, right? It's JavaScript, and recently now it has come up with WebAssembly support also. But ideally, it's a JavaScript engine which is written in C++. See this, the official website says it, right? A lot of people have never went to a V8 website. There are developers who are coding in Node.js since so many years, they don't know about it. So many years they don't know about what is V8, what is it written in, what Node.js uses behind the scenes. They just write Node.js code, they don't know anything about it, right? Now, it is used in Google Chrome and in Node.js, right? It is used in Google Chrome and in Node.js. These are the two major repositories where it is used, right? And it implements ECMAScript and WebAssembly. Now I will tell you about ECMAScript also. I will come to these things also later on. Just give me a moment. Runs on Windows. See, it is again cross-platform, right? Windows, macOS, Linux, and all kind of processors. V8 can be embedded into any C++ application. This is a very, very, very important point, my dear friend. Note it down. V8 can be embedded into any C++ program, any C++ application. What does it mean? That is why it gives you superpowers, right? Let me tell you. See, what is a V8 engine? The job of V8 engine is to execute JavaScript code, right? So what happens is basically you write some JavaScript code. That JavaScript code is read by V8, is read by a C++ program, and it is then converted to the code which machine understand, right? Basically, V8 converts your JavaScript code to machine level code, and machine understand it and then execute that code. That's how V8 works. We will come into the internal architecture of V8 also, don't worry about it. But assume that V8 is just a C++ program, and now that program is reading whatever JavaScript code you are writing, it is reading that code. Understood? So these languages, C++, JavaScript, and all these are working in tandem. JavaScript is being read by C++ and then telling the machine, it is converted at the end to binary which computer understands. These are all just languages. So that is why I laugh when student says that, okay, which language is better? Is JavaScript better than C++? C++ better than JavaScript? No. Every language has its own specific use case, right? It has their own specific potential and its own specific problems that they solve. Isn't it? It's amazing. So never ask these questions, because at the end of the day, JavaScript engine is C++ code. Now, when I told you about that V8 can be embedded into any C++ application. Now, this is the main thing which led to the invention of Node.js. When V8 can be embedded into any C++ application, so what the creator of Node.js did, he created Node.js, which is again a C++ application. This Node.js is again a C++ application with V8 embedded into it. Okay, so if you ask me, let me go to another slide and let me just show it to you. So basically, Node.js is a C++ application with V8 embedded into it. Do you understand it? If this is Node.js, over here we have this V8 engine. Very, very powerful. This C++, it's written in C++. Node.js is a C++ application, and then there is a V8 engine inside it. But when V8 executes any piece of JavaScript, why was there a need of Node.js? Why was there a need of Node.js? Why? Tell me. Again, an important question, right? When V8 can execute our JavaScript code, then V8 can be executed. Just put this on the server, right? Put this on the server and then V8 can execute everything. Okay, where does server come into picture? Let me just show you. See, on the server, this is the server. Suppose in black, we have this server. Inside server, we have Node.js and Node.js has V8 inside it. What happens is, now V8 is a JavaScript engine that follows ECMAScript standards. What is ECMAScript now? Okay, so I told you, right? Slowly, one by one, we will keep unfolding a lot of stories and information about all these things. Okay, what is Node.js? What is V8? What is server? What is ECMAScript? Everything, right? What is ECMAScript? ECMAScript, right? So let me just Google and show it to you. Okay, what is ECMAScript? I don't know the formal definition of ECMAScript, but ECMAScript is a standard which is followed by JavaScript. Okay, and a lot of other languages also. Okay, not just JavaScript, lot of other languages also. Okay, so ECMAScript is a standard for scripting languages including JavaScript, JScript, and ActionScript. So basically, whatever JavaScript you write, it follows a standard, right? So what is that standard? Let me tell you. Okay, so suppose if you have written some JavaScript, you would have written var a is equals to 10, right? So how do you declare a variable? You write a var and then you write a and then equal to 10. So then when JavaScript code, so it follows a standard, right? That okay, if you are writing var a, that means var should come before the variable name, and then you should have an equal to sign to assign something to it, and then there should be a number or integer or floating or string. So these are the standards, the JavaScript standards, basically the way you write JavaScript that are maintained by a standard that is known as ECMAScript. ECMAScript standard. JavaScript follows ECMAScript standard. And this ECMAScript standard, right? This ECMAScript standard is not just followed by JavaScript, but a lot of other languages, but majorly because JavaScript is the most popular among all these languages, right? So that is why, right, we are just talking about JavaScript. So basically, so to run JavaScript, this engine should understand the rules, right? Basically, ECMAScript defines rules. What is ECMAScript? It is a standard, right? Standard, and JavaScript works accordingly. Okay, I think it can be a little confusing. Let me just explain you once again. Okay, let me just explain you once again about ECMAScript. Okay, let's talk about ECMAScript now. This is what I am telling you, right? So if I start explaining you slowly, you can just dig deep into a lot of things, right? Let me just take a moment to talk about ECMAScript because it's very important if you understand this. So think of ECMAScript as standards. What is standards? I'll tell you. Standards or rules, right? So suppose if you are writing a JavaScript ternary operator, right? You are writing a JavaScript ternary operator, or if you are writing a triple equal to in JavaScript, right? Equal to, right? You can write triple equal to in JavaScript also while comparing. So these rules are defined by ECMAScript standard. These are known as ECMAScript standards. Now there are a lot of JavaScript engines, and JavaScript JS engines follows these standards, right? Has to follow these standards. Okay, so follow these standards because see, these standards are defined by a central committee who is responsible for adding new features into the language. Okay, so now let me explain you in very layman language. See, who decides what new features should be added in JavaScript? JavaScript is also evolving, right? There is ES6, there is ES7, and so many new versions of JavaScript are coming in. So who decides that? There is a committee who decides that, right? And they do not decide, they make these ECMAScript standards, and then now all these browsers who have their own JavaScript engine. Okay, so all these browsers have their own JavaScript engine, right? Let me tell you, Google has V8, right? V8 is by Google. There is a JavaScript engine which is known as SpiderMonkey, which is inside Firefox, right? Firefox. And there is a JavaScript engine which is known as Chakra, right? This is developed by Microsoft. It is there in, it was there in Internet Explorer, I think in Edge, if they are using it or not, right? And similarly, there is also something in Safari, right? I think the name of that JavaScript engine in Safari, macOS, is JavaScript Core or something. I'm not sure about it, but there is a JavaScript engine inside Safari as well. Okay, so these JavaScript engine which are being built has to specifically follow these ECMAScript standards. They have to adhere to these ECMAScript standards. Why? So that I am the user, I am writing a JavaScript that should be executed by any engine, right? Any engine that executes that JavaScript should respond, should emit, should give us the same result, right? It can only happen when you have the same standards. All these JavaScript engines are built differently, right? Some other logic would have been implemented in Microsoft, some other logic would have been implemented in V8, and there are so many things. Now this JavaScript engine is again a very complicated software, right? It is a C++ program. It has garbage collection. It has so many things, right? It has compiler, interpreter, so many things. But at the end of the day, what this JavaScript engine should do, it should take a JavaScript code, convert it into a code that machine understands. That is their job. Every browser has their own implementation of these JavaScript engines, but these JavaScript engines follows a specific format. This is known as ECMAScript standards. You might have heard of something known as ES6, JavaScript ES6. That is known as ECMAScript 6. That means that was the 6th version of that ECMAScript standard, right? Read more about it. You would understand it, right? So basically, the theory at the end of the day is all these JavaScript engines have to follow a ECMAScript standards. Okay. So you understood this. Let us go back to our slide. So now this V8 has to follow ECMAS standards, right? V8 has to follow ECMAS standard, and it is written in C++ code. Now, V8 cannot go outside ECMAScript standard. So V8 cannot go outside ECMAScript standard, right? So what happens is Node.js gives it extra superpower. Node.js has V8 engine plus it has a lot more superpowers, okay? Now, what are these superpowers? We will see them later, but there are more superpowers on top of V8 which Node.js gives it. So basically, Node.js, you can consider Node.js as a C++ program. It has V8 embedded in it, and along with that, there are more superpowers which it gives, and that Node.js, when it runs on the server, makes it very powerful. Got it? Now, what are these superpowers? You can assume these superpowers are APIs on server, right? So let me give you an example. Suppose if you want to access database onto your server, suppose if you have a database installed, right? Suppose there is a SQL database installed, there is a Mongo database installed. If you want to connect to that database through your JavaScript, how will that happen? V8 can't do that. V8 does not have, right? V8 cannot connect to database, right? It cannot connect to database because it does not have access to database, right? So V8 cannot connect. Suppose if you want to make a network request to some other computer, right? Suppose if you want to make a HTTP call, V8 cannot do that because it's not in ECMAScript standard. The only job of V8 is to execute JavaScript, core JavaScript, ECMAScript standards. Okay, that is the only job of V8. V8 cannot connect to database. V8 cannot go into file system. V8 cannot fetch the image from the folder. No. So you need some superpowers, and those superpowers come in form of API, and that is the core thing that Node.js adds on to V8 and it becomes powerful. Okay, so Node.js is basically a C++ program with some superpowers and running V8 engine. Got it? So again, if I have to summarize, now you have already seen on the V8 website, it is written that, okay, it can be embedded into any C++ program. So Node.js is again a C++ application with V8 embedded into it. Right? Now the V8 follows ECMAScript standards, but to get more access, to get more superpowers, Node.js had some more superpowers on top of V8. Right? So V8 plus some superpowers is the Node.js, and this is known as JavaScript runtime. Okay, JS runtime. Got it? And now this Node.js is executed on the server. So now with this V8 engine and with these APIs, with these superpowers, with these modules, there are server APIs and there are modules, right? Modules are again code, right? Everything is code. There is no module or server or something, right? Don't understand server as a, right? Some people feel that JavaScript engine, I don't know what it is behind. It's just code. Okay? It's just a C++ program. That's it. Okay. So this is what I'm saying is Node.js is again a C++ application with with V8 plus some superpowers. That's all. This is what you have to understand. Nothing more than that. Now, if you go to the Node.js repository, right? If you will go to Node.js GitHub repository, right? Let me just go ahead. So it is a C++ program, but it is not majorly written in C++. If you go to Node.js website, this is the Node.js package, the repository. If you'll go, so see, it's 62% JavaScript and 21% C++. Okay, so now Node.js is built using JavaScript plus C++. But at the end of the day, it is a C++ core program, but it also has a lot of JavaScript APIs, right? These superpowers, these APIs which I told you, right? These APIs, these are the APIs which a user can call. Suppose if I am writing some code to connect to database, that is written in JavaScript. So it contains JavaScript plus V8. Got it? So that is a Node.js application. So you don't have to remember exactly everything. This is very, very deep. You know, this is not the last chance. We will be covering this in more detail in coming lectures. So don't worry about it. Node.js is it's very deep, right? If you just keep on, see, it's one layer on top of other layer, in top of other layer, in top of other layer. Open source is built like that. Somebody built V8. Now on top of it, somebody built these modules on Node.js. Now somebody is maintaining Node.js. Somebody is maintaining ECMAScript standards. On top of ECMAScript standard, there is V8. On top of V8, there is Node.js. And on top of Node.js, there are other applications which are being built, the code that we write. So it's one fold above on top of each other. Okay. So that's how the whole applications work inside Node.js. Okay. So don't worry much about it. Slowly, everything you will understand. Okay. These are the important things which I wanted to talk to you. Now, one more important thing which I wanted to tell you is, right? So V8 is a C++ code. What does it do and why is it a C++ code? Let me tell you what does it do and why it is a C++ code. See, it's very easy and very basic. Let me just tell you that, okay, see, suppose if you have a computer. So computer understands what? Computer understands binary. Okay. Computers does not understand anything. It understands binary code. What is binary? All zeros and ones. Okay. So the computer understands binary code. That's all it understands. On top of this binary code, there is something known as assembly code. Right? Assembly code or assembly language. It is written in assembly language. On top of this assembly code, there is machine code. Machine code. Okay. On top of this assembly code, there is machine code. Right? On top of this machine code, there is high level languages and high level code. Languages and high level code. Got it? So what happens is, Your, what is high level language? It is C++. So basically, your computer understands binary, zeros and ones. But we as a developer understand C++, right? Can you write binary? Right? And binary is so huge, isn't it? 010101. If you have to write like some alphabet in binary, it will be a very big code, isn't it? So you can't write binary. We are not programmed. Our head cannot process binary, isn't it? So we are capable of writing high level languages. So basically we as users write high level languages, right? And then those languages, so suppose, okay, and these high level languages is C++, and on top of C++ we write JavaScript, okay? On top of this C++ we have JavaScript. So basically, so the JavaScript is very easy for us. We users, right? We users love to write JavaScript because it's very easy. You just write few lines of code and so much happens behind the scenes, isn't it? So basically we write JavaScript. What happens is, this C++ code or the JavaScript engine takes our JavaScript and converts it to machine code, right? Converts into the low level code. And this code is known as low level code, okay? Machine code and assembly level code is known as low level code, okay? And if you will see what is machine code and assembly code, shall I show you? Okay, let me just show you, okay? So, machine code. Okay. So what is machine code? It looks something like this. See this. This is machine code. So basically what happens at the kernel level, right? Basically where in the memory it is stored, there is a memory address, you fetch from that address and all these things. It's very complicated. I'm just telling you, you don't have to understand all this. You should not understand it. But I'm just telling you, at the root level, the computer understands binary, right? And in between there is machine code. There is assembly code. Assembly code, right? If you'll see assembly code, it looks something like this. See this, right? Basically, if you'll see assembly language, see this, it looks something like this, right? It says that, okay, move one to other, right? System call for write, file handling, one std out, and it's complicated, right? It's not something which we will understand, and it will be very complex. So what happens is, generally the code that we write in the higher languages, and you need a C++ program or something like a JS engine that converts your high level code to machine understandable code. This is the job of your JavaScript engine. Okay, so this is why you need JavaScript engine. Now, all these is like, I know that this can be a little confusing. This is a lot of theory, but try to understand that if you understand this story, if you understand this theory, then things will become very clear that how behind the scenes you will appreciate that the code that we write is nothing in front of what people have already given us. People have given us superpowers. When I say people, that means open source community. Some person has written, right? Some developers have written this V8 engine, has just made it open source, gave it for free for anybody to use it. Some person just wrote Node.js and gave it for free for anybody to use it, right? And it's such an incredible piece of code. Amazing, isn't it? And let me show you an interesting thing. If you go to Node.js, try to go into this repository, try to explore it. You know, in this series, in this web series, right? In further episodes, I will be diving deep into the code of it also, right? I will be showing you how Node.js is written, what all things are there inside Node.js. If you'll go to Node.js repository, right? Go to deps, right? These are dependencies, right? Go to Node.js course on the GitHub, right? This is the Node repository. Over here, go to deps. This is dependencies. What is the dependency of Node.js? You will see V8 over here, right? See this. Here we have V8. See this. So V8 JavaScript engine is just one dependency inside Node.js. Okay? Do you got it? If you will see the folder structure over here of Node.js, over here in the dependencies, you will find V8 over here. See, this is the all JavaScript code. This is the V8 code. Got it? So they have put V8 as a dependency inside their repository. Okay, so nothing to worry about. We will go inside these code also, right? But what I'm trying to say is, right, whenever you write some piece of JavaScript code, let me summarize it once again. Whenever you as a user write some JS code, so JS code is then processed by C++ program, right? Or C++ JS engine, and engine takes that code, and this C++ code is then converted to machine code. Got it? C++ code is then converted to machine code, and this is being understood by computer in form of binary, right? Byte code, binary, right? Because computer understand this, right? So this is high level code that we write, and this is low level machine code. It converts, JavaScript engine converts our high level code to low level code, right? The machine understandable code. Got it? So much happens behind the scenes when you run a Node.js application. But let me just not cover anything else. We will cover, I can dive deep into V8 in this episode, but no, there is lot more inside V8. Now, we just saw that, okay, V8 converts this JS into machine code, right? But how? What happens inside this? We will see this in the next episode, and it will be very, very interesting. We will just dive deep, slowly, just like you dig a well, right? So slowly, we will dig inside it, and we will go to a lot more root and grassroots level. There will be a lot of course on the internet, which will tell you about basics and how to write code and all. We will also do that. But initially, I want to make your foundation strong. I want you to appreciate, whenever you write one line of Node.js code, you should appreciate that so much is happening behind the scenes. Oh my God. And you will understand everything, right? So trust me, keep following it. I will go slow, but I will go deep. And this is how this is my teaching style, and hope you are liking it. Now, let us just, go back and let me just revise this whole thing, whatever I have shown you, right? Quickly, so that we can just, wrap up this episode. So now, again, talking about it, Node.js is nothing but just a C++ application, right? Some sort of C++ code. It just runs on the on your system. Now, Node.js is a C++ code. If you will go to V8, so V8 basically, if you will go to V8, V8 is basically can be embedded into any C++. It's a C++ program. It is written in C++ and it can be embedded into any C++ application. So our Node.js is a C++ application. So V8 is embedded into it. Understood? That's it. Right? Now V8 just executes your JavaScript code. Understood? Right? Now, if you go to another slide, right? So Node.js is a C++ application with V8 embedded into it. That's it, right? Assume that on a server, we are running Node.js. Node.js is a C++ program and there is V8 running on it. Now, coming on to V8, V8 follows ECMAScript standards. Now, what is ECMAScript standards? Go read about it, even more about it. ECMAScript standard. There is a ECMAScript website also. Let me just show it to you. When I am teaching, why not go to the website and see it, right? Go to the website over here. See this. On Wikipedia, you can find this website. So here you can find the ECMAScript standards also. Where is it? ECMAScript. So there is known as spec, right? ECMAScript, spec, spec, right? So go to spec. These are specification, right? If you go to specification, it is managed by TC39 community. Okay. So now one more thing came in. Do you understand TC39? If you will see this TC39 is a committee, right? Is a committee of 39 people who maintains it, right? TC39 is a committee of 39 people, I think, right? So basically TC39 is known as a committee which maintains these standards. And if you will go over here, you will find all these things. See this. If you will go inside this and let me just show you something, right? Numbers and date. See. So how numbers and date will be processed by JavaScript, that standard, that rule, that specification is written over here. And similarly, you will find for everything. The global object, see this, the global object, the data type, where, let, everything that you write in JavaScript, your for loop, your if-else condition, your ternary operator, your question mark, right? Conditional operator, everything. You write dot dot dot, you write string concatenation, everything that happens inside JavaScript, those standards are written over here. See this. If you want to see function, what is a function? See this. How do you define a function? You can define it like this, right? So all these standards are defined over here in ECMAScript, right? This is kind of like the documentation for JavaScript. Understood? Documentation for JavaScript. And every JavaScript engine, be it V8 or be it SpiderMonkey, be it Chakra, be it on Safari, I think JavaScript code or something is there, right? All these JavaScript engines have to follow these ECMAScript standards, right? You have to follow these rules if you want to execute some JavaScript. Okay, so these are how things are. So that's how it is. Now Node.js is known as JavaScript runtime. Why it is known as JavaScript runtime? Because it runs JavaScript but has some more added superpowers on it. Those superpower comes in forms of modules and APIs. We will see everything slowly. I am just, when I teach, I follow a top to bottom approach, right? Now I have told you what exactly in a bigger picture Node is. Now we will slowly go inside each of these components one by one. We will explore V8, right? Initially, right now we will explore V8 and then later on we will also explore these superpowers. Okay, don't worry. We will dive into all these things slowly. Okay, so that's how we will go ahead and do things inside. That was it. Now, okay, now let me just quickly recap this also. So V8 is a C++ code, but as a user, we write JavaScript. That is a high level code. Even C++ is a high level language, right? So our JavaScript code goes into C++ and then it converts to machine code. And at the end of the day, computer understands binary, right? You should know about it, right? There are microprocessors, right? They understand machine code. You might have heard of something known as x86. What is it? Right? You might have understood what is x86. You might have understood ARM processor, right? There are so many type of processors inside your computer. They understand low level code. They understand this machine code, right? They understand this machine code. Okay? Those processors. So that your processor understands, your JavaScript engine helps your JavaScript understand, right? Your microprocessors understand that JavaScript code. Okay, so that's all is happening. I think I have stressed enough. I have revised enough. We can end this episode over here. In the next episode, we will talk and dive deep into V8 engine. I will actually show you how JavaScript code, when you pass it into V8 engine, what happens inside it, how it is converted to machine level code. Right? It will again be a lot more theory, but trust me, please follow along. We will soon be writing a lot of code. Once the code will start, you will just keep writing code. But this theory overall architecture is also very, very important. That is the reason I have come over here and explaining you this, right? I want to give you all the knowledge that I have to me, right? To you. I want to give you everything, but just a single request, my dear friends, from you is please keep taking down notes, keep following. If you don't understand anything, go back to the video, revise it. If you don't understand anything, pause the video. If you don't understand any keyword, just Google it. Whatever I'm teaching you right now, everything is available on Google. You just have to search for the right things on Google, okay? And read about it. Let your curiosity be alive, right? The best people, the best developers I have met, a senior developer, the people who are great developers, the only difference between a great developer and a average developer is that great developers are curious. I am curious. I have so much curiosity within me. I try to dig into every level. Similarly, get that curiosity alive, go into every random place and then just find out that why, what, how, everything. You should understand. Go and search on the Google. That's all in this video. Lastly, I just want to say, if you are liking Namaste Node.js, then please share about us to your friends, to your family, at least on social media. You can write a small social media post, recommend us to your community, to your following, right? Please do that. You can also share the learnings of this episode, whatever you have learned in this episode, on your social media as a social media post. Tag me along, tag Namaste Dev, tag me along on that post. I would love to read it. Share your knowledge with other people, and also make your own notes and tell about us to other people. We don't have a marketing team. You are my marketing team. Please, please, please share a word about us or to your friends, to your family and everyone. Hope you are enjoying it. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye for then.